And welcome one, welcome all to another edition of Dis After Dark. I am Nick.
I'm Paul D.
Paul W.
And I'm Chris.
Hello.
We really should because I mean, you know, the slight pause in there is because, who goes next? Who goes next? We should probably try and actually organise that a bit better, but, you know, organisation's not really been one of our fortes before, has it? So, you know, we'll consider it possibly. But thank you for joining us once again. And, yeah, how's everyone doing?
Doing good. Doing pretty good.
Good.
Yeah, not bad.
Good stuff. And we hopefully people are still listening to us after the little bonus one that I put out about my little trip to Disneyland Paris. I think this will be episode 15 officially.
16, I believe.
Well, oh yes, no, I think you're right.
It is,
actually.
it's 16, I believe.
Yeah. No, you're right. I can't count properly. But that's just me.
It's only because I'm reading the stats in front of me. That's why.
Well, also as well, I was looking at my podcast history, and because I listened to the last episode that I missed half of the other day, so I heard all the insults about me while I wasn't there from Craig. You know, the rest of you are pretty clean about it. It's wiped off my phone, so there you go. So yes, episode 16 of season 4. Of Dis After Dark, and it wouldn't be right to continue without asking people what they're having to drink.
I'll go last. I'm boring this week.
I've got a good one this week.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what. You go first, Paul. W.
I'm just being boring as well. I've just got the back on the fruity cider.
What kind of fruity cider we got?
It's just Copperberg again.
I watched an interesting program. All right, let me start out again. I watched a program where they were talking about fruity ciders and essentially saying that, you know, unless it's made of apple or pear, it's not really a cider. So it's just a glamorized alcopop that they call cider.
Let's see what's in it. Let's have a look. If it even tells me, I don't think it actually says what's in it.
Fruit.
No, it has got apples in it. So it says it's got black currants, raspberries, and apple.
Well,
so
it's got to count.
Yeah,
that's one of the rules. It's got to have apples or pears in it. So if it has,
yeah,
and that's not the Cockney rhyming slang. Stairs are not needed to make a cider. Chris,
I am drinking, believe it or not, a bona fide Disney cocktail. I'm drinking an antidote.
An antidote?
Yeah, it's a brand new cocktail. It's from Jack Lindsay's Hangar Bar. And it is Sprite mixed with cherry juice.
Okay.
That's it.
Now I'm assuming, as it's a proper Disney cocktail, you have had that imported over from the hangar.
No.
No. Okay. All right. Well, let's pretend. But this is the new cocktail bar that's at Disney Springs. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
And it's Indiana Jones themed.
Yeah, and this drink is named after the antidote that he tries to get at the very beginning of the Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Ah, so of course, when you've been poisoned, all you need, everybody, is some Sprite and cherry juice.
Exactly, a non-alcoholic beverage.
Very good, very good. Mr. D?
I'm walking wounded tonight, so I'm on the tea.
You're cranking it up, are you?
Very British, yeah.
What happened?
Oh no, I just got a wicked headache. So,
I thought you just had like a massive hangover or something.
No, I wish.
Also, I'm just noticing your profile picture. Is that a butterbeer you're drinking?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that was a while ago. That was at the studio tour.
The Leavesden studio tour.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Yeah. For anyone that's never seen Mr. Stoner, by the way, he looks like a sexy Richard O'Brien.
A what?
Sexy Richard O'Brien.
Richard O'Brien.
Yeah.
They're remaking Crystal Maze, aren't they?
My friend's working on it. Actually, it's not a TV show. It's a live experience.
Oh.
They did similar to Nightmare as well.
Oh.
The old kids show. So yeah, unfortunately, Americans, you have to Google that because it's quite old and pretty British. So those two shows are might mean anything, might not mean anything. I've not even started drinking yet, and already I'm slurring. So I will crack open my second to last bottle of Coors Light. I've really got to go and buy some more beer. Just I don't other than the show, I don't really drink that much. So you know, I don't do many beer runs. But when I do, it's normally a crate, which is why I've still got some. Saying that, of course, if anyone wants to suggest or supply us with additional beverages, the best way of doing so is by visiting our website, letting us know at www.disafterdark.com, or they can email us at podcast@disafterdark.com.
Yeah, and if they want to find the twits on Twitter, we're at Dis After Dark, and facebook.com/Dis After Dark.
Bebo and Instagram and Periscope and teletext
And the blog.
and the blog.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean, the I think now the website address should take you to the blog.
Yeah.
But yes, if not, it's disafterdark.co.uk/blogspot. No, blogspot.co.uk/disafterdark.
Right.
That's it. Good.
That's it.
Wow. One, Nick, slow down, talking too fast. Secondly, get your words in the right order. Good. So, since we last got together, there's been quite a lot of news going on. So, who wants to go first with their bit of Disney news?
I'll go up first. That's not a
Stepping
problem.
up to the plate.
I'll go with the new Magic Band updates that are rumoured to be coming along. After it seemed like everything had... Well, it seems like they are, but whether they are is a different story. Apparently they're being tested already. So the talk is that first up, you're going to be able to book your extra fast passes after you've used your original 3. You're now going to be able to book them on the app, on the My Magic Experience app, which I think a lot of people have been waiting for a long time. And hopefully will mean the end of the little fast pass kiosks that take up quite a bit of room in the parks at the moment. And the second big thing is it looks like they're adding the interactive experiences with your Magic Bands. So say you go to meet the talking Mickey Mouse, it'll read your Magic Band and the software will read your names. So Mickey will actually be able to say your names.
Wow.
And the other thing was that you'll be able to design your own It's a Small World doll. And apparently when you get to the ride, it'll read it and it'll show you it on a screen as you're going through the ride, which is one of the big things that they're talking about that could possibly happen. As I said, it's just rumours at the moment, but there is talk that they have begun testing and that people are finding they can book their 4th Fast Pass on their app and things like that, I think, at the moment.
So... reading into that a bit more, and I, to be fair, I've not really looked into this too much, but from what you just said there, so you'll be able to use the app to book a fast pass rather than have to go to one of the kiosks at a ride and queue up and do that. I mean, surely it's got to save a bit of time and money by doing that, because I mean, they're normally manned, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well,
they've at least got one man on them.
They said that one of the ideas into bringing in the Magic Bands was to help them basically save labour. So if they get rid of the kiosks, they're going to save some manpower, aren't they?
Yeah, especially with the way things are going at the moment with cutting budgets and things like that. After the Shanghai issues, it seems like it's the perfect time to add it and save on that labour rather than cutting out entertainment and things like that.
I think it makes the whole thing more connected, more seamless as well, because you've got the app for your 3 fast passes plus dining plus everything else, and it seems disconnected to use the app for that and then have to go to a kiosk for the additional fast passes. So not everything's going to be driven from the app. It just feels like that was possibly always the desired end state.
Well, the argument was, Disney said that they didn't initially do this because they didn't want people outside of the parks making full fast passes or extra fast passes and then they wouldn't be used. But I've used I don't know if you guys have used it. There's actually an app where you can reserve a table at Cowfish, the restaurant at Universal. And you can't actually reserve a table until you're within a mile of the restaurant.
Right.
To stop people, reserving tables all over the bloody place, so they're not showing up. So there obviously is that technology. They obviously would know where you were. So
yeah.
Do you think this could be another step towards the kind of tiered system that we've talked about before? So where you stay on property would designate how many and what you could book in advance.
Well, there's been a rumor of a special Rockstar Magic Band, but that's never really been proven. So technically, no.
So what's that mean?
Well, the Rockstar Magic Band supposedly is this mythical magic band that they give out to sort of, Centurion level American Express card holders when they book into their suite at the Grand Floridian. That basically just gives them unlimited fast passes. But whether that's true or not, I have no idea.
So a bit like that black card.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the plan is
to your average guest.
Yeah, I think the plan is in the end is kind of to get you to book I think it was something like 10 experiences in a day. So it'd include booking fast passes, however many they're going to give you, your meals and things like that, and like evening packages like dessert meals and things like that. I think the plan is that Disney want you to book up to like 10 a day, and I think that's where they're heading now. It's kind of adding these extra fast passes to be done on the app, and then eventually it'll slowly pick up until they get you to that 10 mark.
Okay. Yeah. Just gotta hope these things called smartphones catch on.
Yeah, one day.
Yeah.
One day. I mean, obviously, I think the technology behind and the idea behind Magic Band is good, and they've introduced a new colour, purple. I know this because our friend Vicky was very excited about the colour purple. The band, not the film or the stage show. But yeah, I mean, obviously the technology's there and the technology's good. But yeah, as Paul kind of just pointed out there, is this not something that could have been done with smartphones and that kind of tech rather than these bands? And with that in mind, would that have decreased the initial cost of implementing it, or do we think that wouldn't have actually had an effect?
Well, by all accounts, this is where all the other parks are going. Like Shanghai apparently is going to open, and they're not using Magic Bands. They're using the app through the smartphone. And I think that's where Disneyland are going as well, by all accounts.
Yeah.
Rather than using the Magic Band system, they're going to go for the smartphone version.
I suppose the only advantage I can possibly see with going for smart bands, my Magic Bands, rather than smartphones, is it's something to sell. So I suppose that's one, maybe that's why, it's a bit of a return of investment. Because, I mean, how much is Magic Band? About $15? $20?
Around that figure, I'd say.
Yeah, I think they range, don't they?
Yeah, well, yeah, I know there's like some limited edition ones as well. So, I mean, and how much does that cost to make? Really, a couple of dollars maybe?
If that.
Yeah. So, I'm just assuming that I don't know what the chips are like inside it. So, if it's got that kind of technology, it might be a bit more expensive, but it can only be a few quid. So I suppose, selling these things, maybe that's a way of getting the money back a bit quicker.
And they only have a 24-month shelf life, don't they?
Do they? I didn't realise that, really.
Yeah.
I better see what I can do with my Disney Infinity, because it unlocks... for those that don't know, if you put your Magic Band on the Disney Infinity mat, then you get extras depending on which version of Disney Infinity you have at the time. So I wonder if that would expire as well. That's interesting.
Is it true that if you've got a Star Wars Magic Band and you flip it against the machine when you clock in for your Fast Pass, instead of it just making its little jingle that it normally does, it makes like a Darth Vader sound or lightsaber.
Yeah, it does. I bought an Olaf one while we were there because it was one of the first limited edition ones. And instead of going green when you walked in, it went blue. And also said, "I like warm hugs," instead of making the noise.
Wow.
So there's definitely ones that do special things, and apparently not a lot of the staff know about it. The cast members tend to be a bit surprised because they're limited. They don't see them all the time, so you kind of get a look of shock on their face as you do it.
That's pretty cool, though. That's a nice little. It's those little touches that are very Disney, aren't they? I remember the first time we went, Pal Mickey was still available. Does everyone remember that?
Yeah.
We actually bought one after our trip to take with us when we returned in 2010 to find out that not only they'd stopped making him, that they stopped all the points where you worked as well, so he didn't interact with anything.
It was weird when they sort of just stopped that, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, and especially because I think I'm gonna have to make up some facts now, which is not like us, but I'm pretty sure Pal Mickey debuted around 2002, 2003, around that kind of time.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
And we were there the first time we went was 2007, and at that time, loads of shops had him. You could rent him out as well, so you didn't have to buy one. You could rent one out for a certain amount of days, and they had loads of different costumes for him and other things. And Q a couple of years later, or 3 years later, and they discontinued him and turned off all the points that worked. So you then just had a regular Mickey Mouse toy that was supposed to do all this stuff and didn't. So I thought that was quite a good gimmick, actually.
Yeah,
I thought it was quite a cool little thing. So I was disappointed to see that, but
again, with all the Magic Band stuff now and all the, the other part of that announcement where they're customizing experiences. So if you go and meet Mickey Mouse, he will know your kid's name and will greet them by name. Again, you think that the Pal Mickey, that if you enabled it through this RFID technology, that you could really enhance it, make something that was a huge seller.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. So maybe there's Pal Mickey 2 to come.
Yeah, why not? Stranger things have happened. But it's a good use of technology. It's a shame that Universal never thought about, implementing that in a ride where you start a ride and you tell them what your name is, and then it's used at some point during the ride. So it's funny, that one.
It is open to abuse.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah.
That too. Or not heard that. That's what I mean officially. Not heard that. But,
I'm not incriminating myself, but it is open to abuse.
Goodbye, big dick.
So you were there that day I was there.
No, it was you, yeah.
Sounds like Donald Trump was on the ride. Well, that's awfully political and topical for this show. Okay, so my Magic Band. So, I suppose we'll know more as it kind of goes along. But I know that a lot of people have been talking about it over the last week, so I think it was a good idea to bring that up. So thank you for that, Paul. There's been a few other things as well. Who wanted to talk about cruise ships?
That was me.
Go ahead, sir.
There's going to be 2 brand new, slightly bigger cruise ships entered onto the Disney fleet. Nobody knows what they're going to be called.
John and Bill.
John and Bill, yeah. Yep. Disney John and the Disney Bill.
Yep.
Well, there will be the Disney Bill when you get on there. They're being made the same as the last 2 by a German company, because we all know the Germans make good ships.
Yes.
Well, the first 2 are made by Italians. I'm not saying any more than that. That's it.
Hey.
And the first one will launch in 2021, and the second one will launch in 2023. And that's pretty much all that Disney's saying, other than they're going to be slightly larger than the Dream and the Fantasy, which are the 2 bigger ships.
Okay. Now, who here's done the Disney cruise? I know a few of us have.
Yeah, I've been on the Magic and the Wonder, the 2 original ones. Never been on the new, the Dream or the Fantasy.
I've just been on the Dream.
And would you both recommend them?
So, yeah, certainly the 2 old older ships are, are comparable. We've done similar cruises on Disney and Royal Caribbean, and the Disney ships are very good. I mean, they've got some unique things. They've got the rotational dining like the bigger ships. They don't have all of the facilities like the water slides, the aqueduct. Although I think one of them was refitted with a smaller version last year. But certainly the older ships are still very nice ships.
Okay.
I mean, I like the fact that you can pretty much go top deck and everywhere like that, and there's hardly any kids anywhere, so you can sort of have a couples break and not have to worry about kids all the time.
Well, I mean,
so it'll be interesting to see where they actually put all of these ships, because obviously one of the older ones, suggestions on a postcard, but the older ones, one of them normally comes to Europe during the summer and then goes back during the winter. So you believe that they're at least going to continue that. But now with all the Asian parks, Shanghai opening up, and then they've got Tokyo and Hong Kong, you think there would be an opportunity for a ship in that sort of neck of the woods.
You're quite right. The reason for me laughing, Paul, by the way, was when you said about where to put them, because of what just been said from Chris. I thought you meant kids. Obviously, you can use that sentence on with ships, and that makes much more sense. But because I mean, I suppose the big selling point especially with the American cruises, is the fact that you can tie them in with a trip to a Disney park. So when my friends have done it, they've done I think 5 days at Disney World and then done the cruise. Rather than go, their usual is a 2-week trip to Disney World. But that's a way of kind of having the best of both, I suppose. And one thing that's obviously lacking from the European cruise is obviously, and I mean it's landlocked, so it's not like there's much they can do about that. But because of where the ship leaves from for Europe, then it's not quite as easy to do a trip to Disneyland Paris and then immediately after that go on a Disney cruise.
Yeah, that's true.
Not quite as easy to do. So,
I mean, originally they left from Southampton, didn't they?
Yes.
So obviously a lot closer to Disneyland Paris, but very expensive. And then I think they, they were not competitive, I don't think. So then I think they moved the start point to Barcelona. And when we did our Med cruise, you had like Royal Caribbean, Disney, and there was at least one other, and they did almost exactly the same itinerary, and the prices were within a few pounds of each other.
Right. And also as well, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never heard of any deals. So going back to that kind of package thing of going to Disney World and then doing a cruise, there didn't seem to be an alternative for doing Disneyland Paris and then the European, the Mediterranean cruise. So, that's going to be another factor, which actually I think is a very good point to bring in our sponsors. And I'm going to go first and mention our good friend Wendy at Magical Journeys Travel, who is happy to be one of the new Dis After Dark sponsors. Whether you've been to Disney 1 or 100 times, there's still lots of planning involved. Let Wendy be the one at midnight when your window opens to get that Be Our Guest reservation or that coveted Anna and Elsa fast pass for your own princess. Whether she can do that on your Magic Band or not, it doesn't say. If you mention that you heard this ad on Dis After Dark, you'll get $25 off your deposit with any trip package. Be sure to ask about her generous onboard credits for Disney Cruise Lines too, which is great because we just mentioned it. You can find her on Twitter at WP Magic Journeys or at WPMagicJourneys.com.
Nice.
Well, the best thing about Disney cruises, and obviously you can book them through her, is get into Castaway Cay.
Yes.
That is amazing.
Yes, my friends raved about it when they went, and Yeah, well, that's the only way of getting there, isn't it?
Yeah. It's only on the Bahamas or the Caribbean routes.
It's not a DVC location, is it?
No.
No, there was a
It's just an
rumor.
island.
Well, there was a rumor they were going to build a DVC hotel, but then they don't technically own the island. They're kind of long-term renting it, so that would be a bit interesting.
Yeah. But saying that, Paul, if you was on a Disney cruise, and sometimes you just want to kick back a little bit and relax, and you still want to be absorbed in Disney, but you don't necessarily want to do any activities. You want to chill out in your room. Would you recommend a particular podcast other than this one to listen to?
Yeah, I certainly would. Our second sponsor, WDW Today. They're the longest running Disney Parks podcast. They've been going for around 10 years. They've just passed the 1,500 episode mark. They were rebooted earlier this year with 3 new hosts. And they've started getting some new guests, including Dick Van Dyke and also some Imagineers. They've been lucky enough, they've got a house band that came from Epcot originally, off kilter. They were originally in the Canadian Pavilion. And you can subscribe to them on iTunes in the usual places, or you can visit them at wdwtoday.com.
Oh, there you go.
And they're very proud to sponsor us.
And we're very proud to guest on them as well. Well, some of us are.
Yeah.
Those that have.
Yeah.
And those that haven't. But, who knows? Maybe we'll change that. But thank you, Logan and the guys. And also, just to reiterate, we don't know if Off Kilter ever had their hands in any tills. So I just want to do that disclaimer from last week from Craig. Blake, you've got a little sup. These are scamping, and I mean, again, seamless with my segues. I don't know how I do it. Mr. D, was there anything that had tickled your fancy whilst we've been away?
Not news really, but I guess just updates on the new nighttime show that's coming to the Animal Kingdom, the Rivers of Light.
Yes.
And just looking, there's a promo video for that that's been out for a little while, and some photographs, and I just think it looks amazing. I think it's going to be a fantastic show. They've obviously put seating in, so. The photographs that I've seen, it looks a bit like Fantasmic, where you've got like dedicated bleachers for our American listeners, or benches for our European listeners, and a combination of the kind of water sprays that you get in Fantasmic, and some newer features as well. So have you guys seen any of that stuff online?
I've seen pictures, but to be honest, not read as much on it as I'd like to myself.
Mm-hmm. So it starts pretty soon now. It starts in April, I think it is. But certainly in the next couple of months, I believe. Have I got that right?
I believe so.
Oh yeah.
It's good that we're being accurate, but I mean it's not really our forte. So.
Well, I wasn't sure if I'd got that right, or I was getting confused because they've got the safari starts soon as well, doesn't it? So yeah, Rivers of Light, April the 22nd. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, yeah,
so pretty
really
soon
coming
now.
up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite. What I think is quite interesting is I'm assuming because I mean when they first talked about the world of Avatar, they talked about Animal Kingdom being extended. In operating hours due to this, and now it's come to pass, and they're going ahead with the safari, and they're going ahead with this show, and I wonder if they had this all in place because Avatar Land was supposed to be completed by now, and they're just pushing ahead anyway because they've got the stuff ready.
Yeah, I think so, and then I think extending the Animal Kingdom. As they start to take, rides out of Hollywood studios, kind of makes sense as well.
Mm.
And Animal Kingdom's gorgeous at night. If you get the chance to go there, it's such a lovely looking park at night as well.
No, I can't say I have, but
Well, I've only run through it, of all things, during the Wine and Dine half marathon. But from what I could see, it looked very nice, and hopefully it will continue in that vein once everything's open.
Well, yeah, because I think that's the thing. I mean, as much as we've all said our 2 pence worth about Avatar, no one wants it to be a complete flop. And with all these additions to Animal Kingdom, it's only going to make it. Well, I mean, hopefully, I think we all feel that it'd be good for the park to go from a half-day park to, I don't know, a three-quarter-day park.
Yeah.
Possibly even a day park. Who knows?
Yeah. Once we get Avatar Land in there, yeah, I think so.
So that you're basing that on the theory, though, that it is only a half-day park currently.
If you want to argue that, I'm more than happy to sit and listen.
I'm either one way or the other.
I think what it's like though is because of the animals and everything else. It's never extended. Normally, I mean, obviously we've got the like the issue that was raised a minute ago, where there's special events like runs and things like that. But normally, people aren't in that park at After Dark. So this, depending on how long they go, it is going to extend it and make it a part that you can visit during the day and at night.
Like a Dis After Dark.
That's a good name for a podcast.
Never catch on.
Nah.
Well, I don't know actually. Has anyone got our latest figures in front of them?
Yeah, looking good. Yeah, Craig sent something out earlier, didn't he?
Didn't we get 4.3 million downloads this week? Didn't we? That was. Did I read that right?
I'm pretty sure it wasn't that many. Technically we are still at least Britain's most downloaded Disney UK-based podcast.
Take that, Disney Brit.
and other Disney podcasts, of course, are available. The last proper episode, episode 15, we're looking at 1,386, and even my crappy little bonus episode, which almost didn't get put out because I was worried about if it was going to be entertaining to people, has been downloaded 853 times in the last 4 days that it's been up or so since I released it to the world. So I'm pleased with that for a little bonus one. So thanks for listening to that one.
I'm one of those. I'm one of the 153.
Hey,
it's good fun.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
great. Good.
I'm always worried when it's a show like that how entertaining it is for other people to listen to. But then I suppose if you listen to us waffle on about Disney stuff anyway, then you're probably in the right target audience for it. So no, I mean, to be honest, with Animal Kingdom, just going back to that and my comment about it being a half-day park, to me it's the attractions more than the fact that it literally is a half-day park because it closes so early. It's got some good attractions, but there are things that I think when we went back to Animal Kingdom that second time, the attractions that we didn't do, that we obviously the first time you go to a park you'll go on everything, or at least everything that you fancy. I didn't do any of Dino Land USA, for example. It looked just too funfairish.
Yeah.
Just felt so out of place even then. But even things like It's Tough to Be a Bug, I kind of felt it said everything the first time I watched it. I didn't feel that I needed
I've still not seen that.
So, there you go. And you've been there before.
Yeah.
It's good. I mean, I still like that attraction because I still like that movie. I've got a soft spot for Bug's Life.
Okay.
And I thought the attraction was really quite clever, and you've got I guess you'd call it like the 4D elements. You know what I mean, Nick? Sort of built into the seats. No spoilers, but I still got a soft spot for that one.
But the best part is you get to put the glasses on beforehand and wait in that underground sort of lobby area, and everybody gets to do Michael Caine impressions until the door is open.
That is true. It's very true. In fact, I have got a picture taken with those glasses on before going into the auditorium, and I think everyone that I know that's ever been there has also taken selfies with those glasses on.
Yeah.
so there is something to be said for it.
That's true. There's some great little touches. I mean, in that atrium, in that pre-show area, some of the posters for other movies are really quite clever.
Yeah. I mean, I will definitely back down from that. Getting off my high horse in that the theming of it is very good. And even going into the theatres is very good. It has been done very well.
Yeah.
And the animatronics they use now are pretty good as well. That's not a spoiler. But yeah, it's good. It's just that it's a bit like I remember seeing Honey, I Shrunk the Audience, and once was enough. I never had the urge to go back and see that. Whilst Captain EO was something I had seen multiple times before it was taken out the first time. I did go and watch it once when it was put back in the parks after Jackson's death, and it didn't really hold up all that well. But nice nostalgia kick, but that was about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was one of the better attractions. I will say that, Animal Kingdom. I mean, I think Dinosaur is pretty good. Yep. I like the ride vehicles, but I'm not overly keen on what else is in the ride. And I think it's probably down to the film.
Yeah, they've toned it down a lot though, haven't they? Because when we first went on Dinosaur, it was a lot better than it is now. It was a lot scarier.
Well, originally, I'm pretty sure, and someone can correct us by contacting us, of course, but didn't it open up as Countdown to Extinction?
That's right.
And then when the film Dinosaur came out, they re-themed it.
They did.
Slightly.
That's right. Yeah, even at the front, the dinosaur, they changed the dinosaur. It used to be a Triceratops, I think, and then they put the iguanodon there when they opened up after they rethemed it.
Okay.
But they also toned down some of the special effects in the ride itself, particularly again, no spoilers, but the big dinosaur towards the end, that used to come lunging at you, and it was a great effect, but still quite a good ride.
It suffered from Disco Yeti syndrome.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is with that ride is that over in Disneyland, California, they've got the Indiana Jones ride that they, always talk up, and it's the same ride system as the dinosaur. But I think the dinosaur ride just edges it.
Yeah.
Wow, really?
Yeah. What do you think, Paul?
Well, I think
I prefer Indy.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry, Paul W.
I definitely, but I have to say I prefer Indy. The theme is just so much better, and that's kind of what does it for me. With the ride system being so similar, it just feels with the Indy theme in it's a little bit more. You get dragged into it a bit more. The storyline's a bit better.
See, I think Indy would have been served better with a like a runaway mine train or something. I know we've obviously got that.
Yeah, or that's a good idea.
I don't know. It's just a bit. I don't know. I just find it a bit weird, that Indiana Jones ride in California.
Would you like the Seven Dwarfs mine train to have been Indiana Jones instead?
Well, yeah, but it's quite tame, isn't it? The Seven Dwarfs.
So is the Crystal Skull.
Yeah, don't talk about that one. I've blotted that out.
It doesn't exist, does it? I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. We don't.
Indiana Jones and the crystal meth.
Probably what I was smoking at the time of making it.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a bit like I was having a conversation with somebody recently about the Rocky series of films, and how there was like Rocky 1, Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Rocky 4, Rocky Balboa.
Rocky Road.
And then obviously Creed. And he said, no, there's definitely one in between. I was like, no. No, he goes, Rocky 4, Rocky Balboa. And he's like, no, I'm sure there's a 5. I said, it's not. Definitely not. I know that because I've removed it from my box set and thrown it away.
It's like Pirates of the Caribbean. There's only the Curse of the Black Pearl. They didn't make any more after that. It's a shame.
Yeah, and of course, Disney are saying there's going to be a sequel to the Black Pearl coming out next year. Finally, that long-awaited
Finally,
sequel
yeah, I've been
to
waiting for
Pirates of the
ages.
Caribbean. What took them so long? I've got to be honest. You know what? I didn't mind the second one, but the third one, oh my god,
Yeah.
so long.
Mm.
Okay, so going back to Animal Kingdom. So, yeah, dinosaur. Okay, and obviously, its greatest ride, arguably, Expedition Everest, with the aforementioned Disco Yeti.
Do you think in the evenings he'll be even more disco?
He will be wearing a white suit with his collar of his black shirt overhanging it.
And
while
Bee Gees.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a dance floor around them.
Yeah. Spinning disco ball.
A glitter ball inside the mountain.
What's the DJ from the Tomorrowland eatery place?
Sunny Eclipse.
Sunny Eclipse. Perhaps they could ship him over and he could spin some tunes for him.
You should be dancing. Great ride. It is a great ride. And in fact, actually, that could have been an Indiana Jones ride, couldn't it, really?
Yeah.
Could have been.
Yeah. But
yeah, it was a bit like the second movie, wasn't it? The Temple of Doom.
Yeah, well, they could definitely have themed it, even if it was like an additional film or something.
Yeah, because they did have the mine cars, the little mine cars in that movie, didn't they?
No, they did. They did. One of the better, well, arguably one of the better bits in that film. Yeah. And obviously the aforementioned Safari, very good, and Kali River Rapids, which I think is alright.
Yeah, I've never been a massive fan of Kali River Rapids. It's just
you get so wet.
Well, yeah, but it's got one big drop, which is good. And you certainly get wet if you're sitting at the right spot or the wrong spot on the boat.
Yeah, see, I've never got soaked on Kali, but I have seen other people, obviously.
Yeah.
Whilst Popeye, everybody got drenched.
Yeah.
And I just think, as much as I hate that ride because of getting so wet, it's just better themed.
Yeah.
So.
There's more to it, you know. It just.
Sorry, Paul.
It's okay.
I was going to say, did you hear the rumor about the tigers on the Kali River?
No.
They supposedly were going to have tigers roaming along the shore, like actual real tigers. And then somebody pointed out that tigers love to swim.
Yeah.
They're not like cats that avoid water and blah, blah, blah. They actually do love to go out hunting and everything in the water.
Yeah.
That's why you often see them at the Lazy River.
It could be interesting.
Well, I can understand it by the theming, but it just... I think the problem with it is, as well, is it's like, I don't need my water rides to have a Captain Planet style message. which is what they tried to throw in there for no reason, so... Yeah.
We're so old.
Maybe Leonardo DiCaprio decided that was a good idea, I don't know. Anyway...
The best thing about the Animal Kingdom, I think, is some of the shows. Like Flights of Wonder, I think is great. Mm-hmm. It's underrated. Lots of people don't go and see it, but they should go and see it. It's a great show. And Nemo, the musical.
Yeah, see, I can never find that.
What?
Thank you.
So terrible. Which, to be fair, about the standard of this show.
So. I walked into that one.
And Festival of the Lion King, which is still there, isn't it? It got moved, but it's still there. It's being moved, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got a new sort of purpose-built arena now.
Yeah.
And
that's been there since day one, pretty much, isn't it? So I mean, that's it's a good show. I liked it. Cool. Okay. Well, there was a couple of things that I wanted to bring up, if that's okay. A couple of, I suppose, late bits of news, really. The first one is about Star Wars Episode 7, which I don't know how we've avoided talking about, but I don't think we've ever talked about it on this podcast.
Star Wars?
Yeah.
Name rings a bell.
Yeah. Yeah. And in fact, actually, speaking about Star Wars or Star Wars, I got an invitation to the last flight to Endor, being a shareholder. They didn't want to provide me with accommodation or train tickets or park tickets. But I got a ticket to go and go on the last day of operation. So if anyone wants to sponsor me, let me know. 16th of March is coming up. But Star Wars Episode 7 has been given some release dates. And I say release dates because it does vary very much on where you are. So our good friends over in America, aka Trumpland USA, as I believe it could well be renamed in the future.
Isn't it Trumpton?
That's his hometown.
Yeah.
And it will be available on digital download from April the 1st. That ain't no joke. That is true. And also, it's set to come out on Blu-ray and DVD on April the 5th. We have to wait slightly longer, not too much longer. And to be fair, we did get it a day early. So, I'll swing with the punches with that one. And we'll be getting it on April the 11th. And there are various special features, including a table read, the first ever table read between the cast. And I remember they made a big deal about the first photograph of the cast all getting together. So it'll be, I'm sure it'll be quite fun for the Star Wars fan for that piece of history to be shown. And what almost made a soapbox this week is the weird decision that the 3D home release has been delayed until later this year.
Yeah.
Now, according to the house involved in making the home 3D version of Star Wars: The Force Awakens, it's actually ready to go. The master disc is ready, and Disney have said that they want to hold it back. And I can only think, there's a few options. One, it's being delayed because of Rogue One, and they want to kind of boost sales around the time of that coming out. Or they want to see how many people double dip, is another one, which I won't be. I will wait quite happily.
For the 3D?
Yeah, because the thing is, even if the 3D only comes with a 3D copy, as they do sometimes, I'll have to buy a 2D copy as well, because I won't want to watch it every time in 3D. But, traditionally with a 3D film, you get a Blu-ray copy or a download version in 2D. So that's fine. But I don't like this method of making people double dip. And there was rumours of extra things being on the home release which don't appear on the listings that they've put out already. Now, bearing in mind we're less than a month before it's going to hit stores, so I would imagine the listings that they've released are going to be quite accurate to what they are. But so again, I don't like when they do this. I also know as well that they've announced different stores are going to have different things. So if you buy it in Walmart, you'll get some extra features that won't be on the release from Target.
Oh, man.
For example. Now, that's obviously, again, that's an American thing. I don't know how that's going to affect the UK release, because no one has yet mentioned if there's going to be a bonus disc or something like that. But they did the same thing with Star Trek Into Darkness when that got released. And so you had to buy the iTunes version, the Target version, the Walmart version to get access to all of the additional features.
But the thing is, Nick, can I just make a point of order, right, to Disney? I'm talking directly now to Bob Iger, okay?
On the soapbox you go.
Well, I'm just going to step on it quickly.
Please do.
Right?
What's your point, son?
This country, we made that Star Wars film, okay? We made it. It's our health and safety executive that's suing because of Harrison Ford breaking his leg or his arm or whatever it was. So, don't mess around with our DVD, okay? Make sure it's pucker.
You tell him, boy. And when's the VHS release coming? That's what I want to know.
April 1st. That one is coming out on April 1st with the HD.
They should have delayed it another couple of weeks, shouldn't they? I mean, be honest. Should have been May the 4th, shouldn't it?
This is honestly, this is when because the release date kind of got released a few months ago. unofficially. So no one obviously knew for sure until Disney gave the go-ahead that that's what it was going to be. And I thought, why are you releasing it now? Because 3 weeks later is Star Wars Day. I just blows my mind.
Yeah.
On the fact that you can go into Disney Store May the 4th and they will have things going on because of it, and special pin releases and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Why did no one at Disney Home Entertainment think, oh yeah, May the 4th?
See, it's joined up thinking like that, Nick. You could be a Disney executive. I think you should run for Iger's job when he retires.
This is why. I don't know if I told this story on the podcast or not, but I applied for a job at Disney. Well, you couldn't. They were very cagey in the UK about what jobs were being advertised. It was like a covert operation, and I managed to get to quite a high level within the Disney Store. I got to speak to the VP in Europe at the time, and said to him, "Look, I'd like to apply for a job, but I cannot find any listings or anything like that." And he gave me the name of the HR executive, and I did a create your own vinylmation of myself looking like I was holding a sandwich board, essentially as like a really tiny CV, and sent it to that person. I never heard back, but at least I made the effort.
You did. That was creative.
Yeah, I liked it. Do you know what I mean? Like, who wouldn't give somebody an interview at least for that? But hey ho, Disney's lost. It's probably because of the time I did this podcast. So. The other thing I wanted to talk about, breaking news actually, because this was only revealed a couple of hours ago, Zootopia has been released in the UK. Did we talk about Zootopia on the last show?
A little bit.
And the fact that they changed the name of it.
Yeah, what's that all about?
Yeah.
Alfie. He doesn't know. I'm looking at him, he's not answering me. God, the number of stuff that Disney's done in the last couple of weeks has made me mad. So they've changed the title in the UK to Zootropolis.
Why?
Good question. I'm glad you asked. So a Disney executive, when questioned why we were getting a different title to America, said that Zootropolis was a title unique to the region and that they felt suited the UK audience better in understanding what the film would be about, rather than call it Zootopia.
Okay, so that's management speak for someone's tried to sue them because there already is a Zootopia in the UK.
Well, I'm not entirely sure of that, because there's also another lie in that sentence, and that's exclusive to the region, because it's also the title across the whole of Europe.
Oh.
So it's not exclusive to the UK. They've changed it for Europe. And they've changed it quite late as well, because the trailers I'd seen in the UK was Zootopia.
Does Zootopia mean something like not family friendly in some other country then?
Not sure.
That'll be why then.
Oh, I think I've found something.
Yeah.
What's Everland Resort? Oh, it's in Korea. Okay, I take it back. There's a ride in a theme park called Everland in Korea called Zootopia. But that obviously wouldn't affect Europe, so...
Yeah.
No, I can't find out. I can't see anything.
Yeah, you got to believe that it's either some infringement or it's some translation that doesn't work somewhere in Europe.
Do you think it's like a swear word in German or something?
Could be.
Das ist Zootopia, nein?
Yeah, so that's my best guess.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I can't work out the difference between the two of those, really. Have we lost the other two?
No, I'm still there.
Oh, you're still
Speechless.
There? Yeah.
He's just dumbfounded, Nick, because of the change of name.
Yeah, I just find it a bit strange, that's all.
When's it? When is it actually out? Did Nick say? Sorry.
Soon, isn't it?
Yeah, 20. I think it's 25th.
Yeah.
Is it the same weekend as Batman vs Superman?
Oh,
I think.
really?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, no, I'll be watching.
I'm quite sure it is.
Oh,
I think we
baby in the
possibly have
background.
lost Nick. Yeah.
Nick's got
I think we know what he's up to.
father duties. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so are you guys going to go and see Zootopia when it comes out? Or Zootropolis, sorry.
I mean, before Star Wars, they had that lengthy sort of featurette, didn't they?
Uh-huh.
And it looked funny-ish, but I mean, a lot of people have said it's very good, so I won't judge a book by its cover, sort of thing. But I don't know. It hasn't made me want to go and book my ticket. Put it that way.
Mm.
I'm considering taking a little boy to see it. He hasn't been to the cinema yet, so it could be a first cinema visit for him.
First ever?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a big experience.
Yeah, it's either going to be that or it'll be Finding Dory later on in the year.
Yeah, when's that? Is that July?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Hi guys, sorry about that. As you could potentially hear in the background there, I was having a little bit of trouble with my son who was exorcising the front room. Is that a thing?
Yeah,
he was throwing up. He was throwing up anyway, so I had to go and deal with that. So sorry for starting a conversation and buggering off, but I'm sure you covered it well. But what I wanted to talk about with Zootopia is the fact it's breaking records. In its opening weekend. Have you seen this? What it's done?
Yeah, it's. I don't remember the numbers, but it's done really well, isn't it? In its opening weekend in the States.
Yes, yeah, because it's. I think that's the only region it's opened up, or it's definitely the only region that anyone's focusing on at the moment. But it opened at 73.7 million, which in English is 52.1 million. Which has surpassed the opening of both Big Hero 6 and Frozen. Not combined, obviously.
Amazing.
Not combined. Well, it isn't. It isn't. I mean, the marketing I don't think has been particularly good. But let's look at it the other way around. Frozen had some really crappy trailers. Before that film came out, had some really crappy trailers. So it was very much a slow burner. I mean, that film went on forever in terms of how popular it was and how long it was being shown at cinemas for. It had a very, very long shelf life. But it was a bit of a slow burn. And obviously, Big Hero 6 was the same. But different crowd. Just because Disney was a different crowd. So I'm surprised because I do think that the marketing for Zootopia has been better than Frozen, and probably about on a par with Big Hero 6. But I mean, saying that, the reviews have been brilliant. Have you seen the reviews for it? I mean, it's been very positive.
Yeah, I haven't seen a bad one yet.
Yeah.
No.
Everything I've seen's been positive.
Yeah. And I wasn't able to find an answer as to why it's been renamed, but it seems to be that there is a zoo or an attraction that's being developed in Europe. I think it's in Denmark, that has that title, Zootopia. Hence the reason for alternatives. Apparently, as well, I didn't realise that the Avengers had to be renamed to Avengers Assemble because of a trademark on the 60s TV show, The Avengers.
Just in case anyone got them confused.
Well, no, that's the thing. I thought it was something stupid like, in case people get the two confused because of that really crappy Sean Connery film. But apparently, it was actually trademarked, and it was going to infringe on the trademark.
Mind you, this is true. My great aunt, bless her, she's in her dotage now. She actually went to the cinema to watch Bruno, thinking it was a biopic of Frank Bruno.
Oh no.
Yeah. She still has nightmares about it.
Was it when the talking cock came up that really confused her?
Yeah.
Oh dear. Right, there is one other thing that I wanted to talk about because this is breaking actually, and that's that the EuroDisney Shareholders Club has announced its latest round of changes. Now, this is something we've talked about on the podcast over the last few years anyway, at various different bits and pieces. But when they started to do the restructuring, they actually closed Le Club Actionnaires, or the Shareholders Club, to those not in the know, for new membership until such time. So it actually reopens on the 10th of March. And now, if you want to be a member, you need to have 1,000 shares in the club. So when they first started doing this, I think originally, back in the day, when it was EuroDisney, you needed, I think, 5 shares to be part of this club. And then over time, it went to, I think, the minimum was 10 shares, and then you had to pay a subscription fee, or if you had over 25 shares, you could be a member. Then this was increased to 100, and then did the restructuring. So now we're looking at 1,000. So if people don't have shares already and decided tomorrow they wanted to join the Shareholders Club, the current cost of a Disneyland Paris share is €1.26. Meaning it would be about, in English, £970 to become a shareholder member. Now, I didn't realise actually that how much trouble it caused them with the discounts that you get, because I mean that was one of the things that attracted me to join in the first place. And is anyone else here a shareholder of Disneyland Paris?
Yeah, I've still got the 100 shares. Yeah, okay. But I won't be upping that to 1,000.
No, well, do you still have a shareholders club card?
Yeah.
Because so I read the press release and I was slightly confused, and it's on their website as well. So you can have a look at it. Also, our friend at Salon Mickey, salonmickey.wordpress.com, it's on his blog as well. And apparently, I mean, I misread this, but apparently it's been corrected, that if you are a shareholder with 100 shares before the 9th of March 2016, which is about now, if you have a card, as long as you renew it within 120 days, that's 60 days before or 60 days after the expiry, you can retain your membership. And the card will then be valid for 5 years.
Yeah, I think it's lapsed, but I'll have to check that, because it was only 2 years before, I think, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. So going forward, if you renew it, it will be 5 years. I'd have a look now, because it's still the 9th of March as we record this. So just to see.
I'll have a look.
Yeah.
Do you still get the same benefits?
Benefits haven't changed, so you still get your discounts on food, you still get discounts on shopping. I mean, one of the reasons I think they're trying to make it a bit tighter for new members is apparently there was one family one shareholder whose card was used to the tune of about €6,000. Like, that's what they worked out the savings they had, and it wasn't the one person using it, it was being passed around, because the cards never used to have your photo on. So you could probably get away with it. But now the newer cards from the last few years do have your photo on. I mean, to be honest, like, reading that, yes, I understand the need to tighten controls a little bit, but if you're going to be that silly to allow those kind of things to happen, then you're asking for trouble. You know, I used to work in a supermarket with a discount card, and my name was on it and whatnot, but they used to check the usage on those cards. I imagine randomly more than quite hotly on it, but they would check to see how much you were using it, how often you were using it, what stores you were using it. So if they noticed anything that was a bit dodgy, they would pull you up on it. And if Disney were kind of letting people go carte blanche and not checking these things, then they're asking for trouble. You'd expect a company of that nature to be more on top of things. But so you don't get much sympathy out of me for that one. But
I thought it was just someone eating all the croissants in that little shop, that little rest area.
Well, this is the thing as well, because I mean, I've been being a shareholder for I don't know, about 5-6 years now. I've gone to Salon Mickey quite often, and the amount of times I went in there and there was nothing to eat was staggering.
Yeah.
I would never rely on it to have breakfast. Like, if I could have breakfast before I could get into the park, I would do. Which defeats the object somewhat, because the whole thing was you could have a croissant or something and a drink before you enter the park, and it was like a nice, quiet, casual thing you could do. But, yeah, 9 times out of 10, you'd go in there and it'd be like, oh, we've run out. So
well, the last time we went there, when we came in and showed the card, the guy on the desk said, "Would you like a cookie?" And we thought, "Oh yeah." And he went in the back and he came out. There were 5 of us, and he came out with 5 cookies. So it was 1 cookie per person.
But I don't think that. I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, it's okay.
People that takes the miss. At least you can't make lunch in there. Mm-hmm. Which is the other pet peeve with Disney breakfast is making like big lunches. But yeah, if you're going to offer these perks, then I get the need for tightening things up a little bit. But I think there's ways and means, and just if it's going to cut the loopholes, then I suppose that's one good thing. Now, I do have a little bit of a rant to do before we end this podcast, but before we do, I think we should give another shout out to our sponsors. So, Mr. Washington.
Yeah, so the first one is WDW Today, the longest running Disney Parks podcast, 10 years, and they've just passed their 1,500 episode mark. They had a complete reboot earlier in the year, and they've got some great interviews lined up with people like Dick Van Dyke and some Imagineers. The house band, Off Kilter, formerly of Epcot. And you can subscribe to them on iTunes or go to wdwtoday.com.
And what's the best episode number for them to listen to?
Oh, God knows. Mr. Lucas is the one that knows the episode numbers.
Yeah,
recently.
Recently.
Yeah. And within the last couple of months.
Yeah, we'll get him to put the number in of the best guests they've ever had, other than Dick Van Dyke. And our other sponsor is, of course, Wendy at Magical Journeys Travel. So whether you've been to Disney 1 or 100 times, there's still lots of plans to be involved. So let Wendy be the one up at midnight getting those window reservations for you for things like Be Our Guest or Anna and Elsa fast passes for the Princess meet and greets. And if you mention you heard this ad on this particular podcast, that is of course Dis After Dark, if you didn't know, you get 25% off your deposit for any trip package. So you can find her on Twitter at WP Magic Journeys or WPMagicJourneys.com. So I hope you guys take her up on that one. But yeah, so before we go, and this is something that Chris mentioned to me to talk about, so I'll give him the kind of credit there for that one. But he's quite angry, and I think we all share that anger about the price increases. So, Disney have announced price increases that are going to be coming into the thing, and you actually did some maths, Chris, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
And averaging out the ticket prices per ride at Magic Kingdom is now $2.90 per ride, which I don't think is too bad. However,
that's very good value for money, that I'd say.
I think so. But Studios, which we have talked quite a lot about on here, is $13 a ride. Now,
that's a bit steep.
I think so. How many rides did you pay $13 for at that park?
Tower of Terror. It's usually got a 13-minute wait, so I suppose I'd pay $13 for that.
$1 for each minute you wait.
Yeah.
Like that. Okay, fair enough. I mean, that Rock and Roller Coaster, which are next to each other. Star
Tours. Yeah.
I suppose you get your entertainment there. It's a Fantasmic.
Toy Story Midway Mania.
Yeah. But it's still a lot of money per ride.
It is. And also that's based on a. Sorry, Nick.
No, that's based, Chris has worked that out, although we're saying that's $13 each, that's $13 on every ride that's open. So actually, we've pulled out about 4, there's probably only about 5 rides left open, isn't it? But Yeah, so actually it's slightly more than that. But you also compared it to Universal. Now, was this just Studios, or was this Studios and Islands of Adventure?
No. This was just the Studios part.
Just Studios.
Yeah.
$5. So slightly more than a Magic Kingdom. But again, I don't think $5 a ride is too bad. Granted, a lot of those are just things with big screens.
Great.
But $5 to watch a film on a big screen, not too bad value, I think.
And that was based on a one-day ticket, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
One-day ticket.
So obviously, if you're a Brit and you're getting a 14-day ticket or a 21-day ticket, then that price comes down quite a bit. But
I do love how the 14-day and the 21 are almost exactly the same price.
Mm-hmm.
It's very little in it, is there?
Yeah, it's brilliant though.
I think last time we got a 21-day ticket because of the price difference, even though we knew we weren't going to be using it because it was just stupid. At least then we had the option, if we did want to spend a couple of extra days there during that time, we could.
Well, Dis After Dark top tip. I bought the 21-day one last time, and then when we knew we were coming back the following year, but slightly earlier in the year, I upgraded it to annual pass, and it worked out cheaper.
No way.
Good thought, yeah.
Top tip for you.
Well, that is very good, and not something we do very much of, but very good. But no, so I mean, really, I think what we are collectively saying is there's a bit of cheat going on with Disney at the moment, and the fact that they can increase the price because obviously the day ticket's just gone up at Studios. They can increase the cost of the ticket, and yet there's so little open. And when you break it down like that as to what it costs per ride because of what's open, that's a huge difference. And I think when they next release their figures for attendance, is it every 6 months or is it every year they do that?
It's done by a third-party organisation. Yeah. I think it's on an annual basis.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so you probably won't know for a while then.
No.
Yeah, I suppose the thing is, it's just from a percentage point of view, the prices are going up constantly and generally more than sort of inflation or, the average cost of living. So, relatively speaking, the prices are going up. Now, certainly they're funding a lot of expansion. You got to pay for that somehow, but it is becoming, a very expensive holiday, particularly if it's a short, if you're going to go there for 2 weeks and get a 2-week length of stay ticket, then, I think it works out a better value. But if it's going to be a kind of 3-day part of a bigger holiday, and then you're going to do the same at Universal and go to Busch Gardens and go a few other places, it is becoming a very expensive holiday.
And I think the thing is, the difference between ourselves or people coming from outside of America to do a Disney holiday or go to Orlando is that generally, if we're going over, or so some from Europe or our friends over over there at the moment, you don't normally go for like a few days. You normally go for a couple of weeks. Now you might not spend your entire duration there, but like you say, like you're saying, Chris, the 14-day tickets are much cheaper than buying obviously individual day tickets by quite a lot. So you would be more coaxed into doing that. So when you're buying a ticket like that, it's not quite as bad if you got a ticket for Studios and so little stuff was open, because you don't feel too cheated. But our American listeners, they generally go down to Disney if they're going on holiday. They don't live nearby. They will be going down for 3 to 5 days generally, and their time is precious, and they will be buying day tickets. So for them, it will be an expensive way of doing it, and I would certainly be contemplating what I would spend my money on with so little open. As much as the experience is great,
Do you think as well, with the pound-dollar rate, the pound has sunk quite a lot against the dollar? Do you think that might make a bigger impact on people now?
Yeah, it must do. Yeah.
Because, in the good old days, it used to be $2 to a pound, didn't it?
The first one I went was $2 to a pound, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
but I mean,
it's what, 1.3?
Yeah, but it's been 1.6 for a long time. So, dropping to 1.3, that's a huge difference.
Yeah. Yeah. The last time it was, 2010, it was 1.6-ish, 1.7 might have been, but it had been 2 when we went in 2007. So it dipped slightly, but not too bad. But yeah, I mean, if we're looking at going to 1.3, then that I didn't even realise it dropped that low. Actually, that's quite dramatic. Actually, so
but for our American listener, it's good value. Come to Europe, go to Disneyland Paris. You're getting more for your dollar.
Yeah, maybe not. That's another show, probably. But on that bombshell. Oh, sorry. By the way, it makes us mad. But if I don't say that, people won't know it's over. But yeah, we're coming to the end. The barman is looking at me, aka my son is still crying. So we'll kind of leave the show there. But thank you very much for joining us. We've got some exciting stuff coming up on our next show. Are we supposed to talk about it? Or are we supposed to?
No, Craig said don't say a word.
And what Craig said goes.
Yeah. So this is a teaser then.
Yes.
Yeah. But before we go, I just wanted to give Karen Jackson another shout out. She won the second photo quiz on the blog, but also wanted to say hi to Jimmy Gandy from Louisiana. Thanks for having a go, Jimmy, and keep an eye on the blog. I'll put another photo quiz on there this week, but we really need a few people to give Karen a run for her money, so get on the blog spot and give it a go.
And of course, if you can remind people where to go for that, Paul.
Yeah, that's disafterdark.blogspot.co.uk.
And if that's too long-winded for you, disafterdark.com will also take you there. And Craig's just nudged me and said that we've got a guest booked for an upcoming show. But maybe we'll leave that one for the next show as well. So basically, we're leaving you on a cliffhanger. And I think Zootopia won't be out by the next time, so no one would have seen that. Oh, what a shame. Right. On that note, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.
Yep. Bye-bye, peeps.
Cheerio.
See ya.
Bye.